I'll go home as a beggar and never be your wife.
Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
True Crime Edition. If you are enjoying our show, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. You can subscribe to our show and give us some reviews and thoughts. And share it with your friends. I do not have any real-time true crime.
Don't forget, you can get jewelry and cookie dough.
Yeah, sorry. You can get jewelry at Every Jewels, EVRY Jewels, with the code Mary788 for money off of your order. And you can get cookie dough at Deutsch Foods with the code HDI20 for 20% off of your order. Make sure you use it, unlike Katie.
I'm a stupid head. Because if you don't, not only will you feel bad for not supporting us, but you will have paid full price.
Yeah.
When you could have had 20% off.
Please.
And that's silly.
Okay.
Also, Mary added a couple new merch items. The tote bag is so stinking cutie. I had to order one. And it's got a pocket in the front. I almost got the large one, like it's more horizontal, but then I was like, pocket in the front, though.
Yeah.
Little foam pocket.
Hard to pass up on.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched Maternal Instinct on Netflix?
I have not, but I have heard that I should.
I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
It was not played up
today.
enough.
I know, like, the crash was everywhere.
Right.
But I will probably get to that today. Alright, take us on a journey.
Okay. You and I are about to go on a little journey together, and that journey spans back to 1987 in small town Massachusetts. On the evening of December 1st, 1987, Andy Gustafson returned home from work to his family home in Townsend, Massachusetts. The girls from Morbid were like, I hope I'm saying this right. Townsend? I was like,
doesn't sound that difficult to me.
No, it's spelled like Townsend. Crazy. And they're from Massachusetts.
Those are 2 words that already exist.
Andy's wife, Priscilla, should have been home with their 2 children, 7-year-old Abigail and 5-year-old William. However, each time he had tried to call home that afternoon to check on them, no one was answering. When he got home, he called out for each member of his family and was time and again met with complete silence. He went straight to the primary bedroom to look for his pregnant wife and found her lying face down on their bed, surrounded by pillows, completely soaked in her blood. One pillow was laying on top of her face with 2 bullet holes through it. Andy immediately called police, telling them his wife was dead and his children could be too. When police arrived, they asked him how he was sure his wife was dead. He was like, I don't know,
copious
massive
amount
of blood, I guess. I don't know. He told them he could just tell when he saw her.
You know, I'm no doctor, but really seems that way.
And that he felt like his kids were dead too, but he couldn't bring himself to look for them. Officers did a thorough search of the rest of the home and found Abigail and William. Each had been drowned in a bathtub. William was found in the upstairs tub, and Abigail was found in the downstairs tub. Priscilla had been raped and shot twice at point-blank range. likely, I guess, through the pillow. So first and foremost, police
so
wanted,
she was shot in the head.
yeah.
Okay. I was like, the bullet holes are only in the pillow, but okay. No.
Um, Police wanted to question Andy about where he was at the time of the murders. He was able to provide an alibi, and police were able to corroborate that he was at work at his law firm.
They said this is actually so medically complex that the only way you could have known that she was
I know.
dead is if you did it yourself.
Crazy. Now the police were able to clear Andy. They began to believe this was a case of an interrupted burglary. Their theory was that Priscilla, a kindergarten teacher, had come home with William and found someone robbing their house, and each of them were murdered. Later on, Abigail would have come home from school, and police believe she was murdered at that time. Andy noted that several things were missing from the house, and the house had actually been broken into a few days earlier. After that incident, the family's cable box was missing, and an open beer bottle had been left behind. This detail piqued the interest of investigators because in the primary bedroom, on the nightstand next to the bed, they had found an open beer bottle and an open condom wrapper. This, coupled with the blood left on the walls and the tossed over state of the house, made police think of one person. 2 days after the discovery of the Gustafsons, police questioned 17-year-old Daniel LaPlante.
Wait, are the kids dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were drowned in the bathtubs.
Okay. I was like, how did I miss this? Okay. Continue.
They had cornered him at a local library, but they didn't feel confident enough through their questioning at that time to arrest him. He told them he had an alibi for the afternoon of the murders, that they could question witnesses that would agree they saw him at a birthday party. In the wooded area behind the Gustafson home, they found a pillow, a wet flannel shirt, and a wet pair of gloves. The K-9 units followed the scent from these items to LaPlante's home, located directly behind the Gustafson home through a 1-mile area of woods. Armed with a search warrant, police went inside and found in LaPlante's bedroom a pair of wet socks, shell casings from the same type of gun used to kill Priscilla, and a long blonde hair that was later confirmed to belong to Abigail. They came back with an arrest warrant, but before they could even knock on the door, LaPlante spotted them from his front porch, leapt off, and ran. Once his feet hit the ground, police were ready to launch into one of the biggest manhunts in Massachusetts history. Police brought out the K-9 unit and helicopters to look all around the area. One of the police lieutenants involved in the search effort said it was the only time in his career he had ever used a bulletproof vest. Crazy.
Wild.
For 2 days, the town of 10,000 residents was terrified.
Tiny town of 10,000.
In Townsend, people were locking their doors, loading their guns, and teaming up with their neighbors to keep watch. At one point, LaPlante allegedly broke into a home where he attempted to steal a 16-gauge shotgun, but ended up leaving it behind and instead making off with a handgun and ammunition belt. Word had spread beyond Boston and surrounding areas, and police were flooded with tips. In the nearby town of Ayr, a tip was called in after someone spotted LaPlante in a stolen vehicle, with the owner of the vehicle still inside, being held hostage. LaPlante abandoned the vehicle and ran into a lumberyard. He managed to find the owner of the lumberyard and threatened him with a stolen gun before diving into a dumpster. 2 officers were able to find him there and worked out a plan to apprehend him. They stood outside of the dumpster, announcing that the area was clear and calling for helicopters and other officers to pull back. Like, they like slammed the door, and then like their footsteps got quieter and quieter to pretend like they're walking away. Once his guard was down, they called for him to come out, and he surrendered.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wait, why did you need this whole plan?
This man was jumping in dumpsters 5 minutes ago, but now he's
like, oh, never mind.
Fine.
They kept him under guard until reinforcements arrived at the scene. Then a laughing LaPlante was officially placed under arrest and taken into custody at the police barracks on Elm Street. The capture of Daniel LaPlante begged the question, could this triple homicide have been prevented? Let's take a look at his life and see if we can answer that. Daniel LaPlante was born on May 15th, 1970 in Townsend, Massachusetts. His parents got a divorce when he was fairly young. What?
So he was 17?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. His parents got a divorce when he was fairly young, and then he was raised by a single mother. Over time, LaPlante's mother remarried and had 2 more sons with her second husband. LaPlante struggled in school and was diagnosed with dyslexia, ADHD, and additional learning disabilities. He had been referred to a psychiatrist due to these concerns, and the psychiatrist noted that his abnormal behavior, appearance, and stunning lack of hygiene leading to skin issues could all be attributed to ADHD.
Oh. Feeling attacked?
Fuck me, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, actually, murder unavoidable because he had ADHD.
And he was ugly.
Ugly.
Like, that was like, he was like, I think this was like when he was a child that these diagnoses were, but he was like, he's ugly, so I think he has ADHD.
Yeah.
He went to St. Bernard's High School in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, after attending elementary and middle school inside of Townsend. He played football and ran track in high school, but still remained separated from his peers. LaPlante claimed that he had been sexually and psychologically abused by his father before he left, and then later by his stepfather and psychiatrist.
Oh my.
Yeah, on Morbid, they were, like, stating this as, like, fact. Like, these awful people. And I was like, do we just believe him, though?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's hard to believe a murderer anyway, but when he's like, yeah, actually, everyone I ever met in my life sexually abused me. I'm like, okay. But what do I know? His classmates described him as creepy and weird and viewed him as a loner, and his neighbors described him as strange and disturbed. In fact, at the time the Gustafson family was murdered, Daniel LaPlante was out on bail for tormenting another family. So, to break the fourth wall for a second, no doubt this case is absolutely bonkers. However, I watched 3 documentaries, listened to a podcast, and read the entire Wikipedia page on this, and the details are so vastly different in every single one of them that I genuinely don't know what happened. I have never seen reporting discrepancies like this in my life. So, I'm going to tell you each individual story.
Okay.
And we're just going to hope one of them is true.
Okay, cool.
So, first story. In 1986, LaPlante asked 16-year-old Tina Bowen on a date over the phone. During that phone call, LaPlante described himself to Tina so that she would be able to spot him when they went out together. She agreed to the date and was excited to meet this handsome suitor. When she arrived, however, she was surprised to see
because
that
he
LaPlante...
had ADHD. He was
was
actually
ugly.
hideous.
She was surprised to see that LaPlante looked nothing like he had described himself and was instead very unkempt and rough-looking, like he didn't wash or care for himself well.
He said, people mistake me for Megan Fox all the time.
Tina carried on with the date as planned, but did not intend on continuing to see LaPlante. On Morbid, they were like, yeah, because Tina's not a bitch. Like, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, she should not have gone on that date. Like,
yeah, like,
and not like to blame her for anything, but like, if someone lied about who they were, it doesn't make you a bitch to not go out with them anymore.
Yeah. Unrelated to, like, she's not just being like, ew, not hot. Like, he lied.
Right.
Also, like, it's different to be like, this person's like, not my type.
Right.
To use Love Island language. That's different than, like, this person doesn't clean themselves.
Right. And also, this person doesn't clean themselves. They lied about that, and they're just ignoring it. Like, we're on this date, and not once has he been like, hey, sorry I lied about how I look.
Sorry I didn't shower.
Nothing happened at all. This is exactly how I describe myself. Mm-hmm. Whatever. So she did not want to go out with him again. But he was not ready to give up his connection with Tina.
Oh my God. It really is Love Island, but tragic.
I was like, connection? He stalked her for quite some time, but eventually the stalking came to an end. And even though LaPlante was no longer bothering Tina, her family started dealing with a lot of stress at home. They were now convinced that their home was haunted.
Oh.
They were hearing strange noises through the walls in pretty much all areas of the house. On top of that, things were going missing from around the house, like just regular household items, but the frequency with which things were going missing was alarming to them. This went on for about a year before Frank Bowen, Tina's father, found the source of the ghoulish behavior. Tracking the sounds, Frank opened the door to one of his daughter's closets and found a teenage boy crouching inside. He had painted his face with ketchup and mayonnaise and had put his hair up in spikes. And in his hands, he was holding Frank's
hatchet. With the ketchup and the mayonnaise?
I don't know if that's how he did the spikes. Okay. He was holding Frank's hatchet in one hand and his wrench in the other, which he had previously stolen from the house. When Frank locked eyes with this boy, he told him that he and both of his daughters would need to go to a bedroom. I think, like, Frank was like, oh, so sorry. We're just gonna head in over here. Thank you.
Weird.
And so they went in there and, like, locked themselves in. Or no, I guess maybe I read that wrong. I think Daniel LaPlante was like, you need to go into this bedroom. Okay. So Tina, like, knew that this was Daniel LaPlante, her date, who had lied about his appearance and creeped her out. So when they got to the other bedroom, Frank slammed the door closed and locked it before LaPlante could enter the room with them. Tina then jumped out of the second-story window and ran to a neighbor's house to call the police. When police arrived, the Bowen family was safely removed from the home, and authorities searched the house. They were unable to find LaPlante, but they did find a series of tunnels and small crawl spaces inside of the home where LaPlante had been living for approximately a year. When police were unable to locate him...
did not end, you liar!
When police were unable to locate him, the Bowen family simply moved on with their lives. That's the Wikipedia...
They moved?
Yeah. That's the Wikipedia version of events. And I think, like, for the most part, like, the basis of it is, like, that's what happened. But, like, he didn't, like, go unfound. because we know he was out on bail.
Yeah.
So they did find him. So that's not true.
I'm also just like,
so
I understand he like had a hatchet and a wrench, but like you're telling me that grown man dad, sees this teenage boy covered in condiments. The teenage boy says, go away. And he's like, oh, okay. No, he beats that kid's ass. What are you talking about?
I mean,
you already told me this small town is full of gun owners. You're telling me that this kid is just like fine after this? No. Wild.
True. Okay. Here's the second set of events. This one I feel is the most likely to not be true.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is the one that they gave on Morbid. And then I watched a show, and I believe that they got it exactly from this show, specifically because in the Morbid episode, they had all of the names wrong, and these are the names they used in the show as, like, aliases.
So, also, you said he was out on bail for stalking?
For kidnapping.
Okay.
And breaking and entering.
And that does not line up with the time of this, what Wikipedia says?
So, Wikipedia is saying, like, basically, they lost him.
For a year?
No.
Oh, after he was...
Yeah, like, after they figured out he was in the house, they lost him.
Oh, okay.
And then a year later, this family's murdered. That's not true. He is, like, arrested for it. Okay. So, round 2. Tina Bowen, a 15-year-old girl now, who, the first story, she was 16, who had recently lost her mother, had been talking on the phone with the football captain of another high school named Danny. Danny described himself as a blonde jock type. And after a few calls, Danny finally asked Tina out for ice cream. And she was very excited to meet him. Not only had he described himself as incredibly attractive, but he was also sweet and caring over the phone. When Danny showed up at her door, short, with dark hair, and nothing like he had described,
and Tina, not showered, probably.
Tina was put off. She was like, what the hell? But, not wanting to be unkind, she decided to go through with the date anyway.
Not wanting to be a raging bitch.
It's like a crazy take. On the date, Danny continued to make Tina uncomfortable by asking excessive questions about her mother's death. He asked her about the exact moment her mother passed, if she was there, how she felt, and just, like, really uncomfortable details. The date left her not wanting to see Danny again. However, she was interested in seeing her mother again. So Tina and her sister Karen held a seance in their basement for their mother, hoping to
like,
bring her back in some way. I'm so glad he brought this up.
I want to find out a little more.
They believed they had successfully made contact with her when they began hearing knocking throughout the house, but when the haunting seemed to get a bit stranger, they began to worry that they had instead contacted a malevolent spirit by mistake. Their father, Frank, was a bus driver and had begun working more after their mother passed away. It seemed like any time Frank was out of the house, the girls were tormented by unseen forces. Things were going missing from the house. Strange noises were coming from all directions. But despite how much the girls insisted that something was wrong, their father didn't believe them. He was concerned that this was their way of acting out or trying to get attention from their father since he had been working more. He thought clearly the girls are going through something after losing their mother, and they
God forbid.
just really want to believe that these noises are her. So, after months of lights flickering, things being moved or thrown around the house, and the doorbell ringing with no one there, the girls realized they could hear the noises the loudest from the basement. They went down to investigate and found a message written on the wall in what looked like blood that read, "I'm in your room, come find me." The girls ran to a neighbor's house and called their father.
Oh, thank God.
He
I was
called
like,
police.
they ran to their room.
He's going to find him. Um, they called police, and their father called police and made his way home. Police searched the home top to bottom and couldn't find any trace of an intruder other than the message, which had actually been written in ketchup. Frank once again believed his daughters were making up the story of the intruder, and this time he decided to take action by putting both of the girls in therapy. Not the worst thing you could do.
Probably a good idea. It's just some grief therapy, but
Yeah. After beginning to see a therapist, the haunting did actually seem to come to a stop for a little while. But after a few weeks...
You've said that before.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
After a few weeks, the knocking came back, and this time the girls followed the sound upstairs to Tina's bedroom. Just outside of her door, there was another message which said, "I'm back, find me," along with a photo of Tina stuck to the wall with a knife. The girls ran from the house and begged a neighbor to call their father. When Frank arrived back at the house, he was annoyed, but their neighbor assured him that this time seemed different. He said the girls had been scared to death, hysterical and shaking for the past 30 minutes, and it was bad enough that the neighbor was afraid to leave them alone so that he could check the home himself. So when Frank went inside, all of the televisions had been turned on and the volume had been put all the way up. The girls agreed it had not been that way when they ran out of the home. Which, obviously, why would you do that?
Yeah.
On your way out. Frank made his way up to Tina's room, where he found another message on the wall that said, "Marry me," and a teenage boy dressed in a blonde wig, makeup, and his wife's clothing, and holding a hatchet. Frank immediately called the police and told him that neither he nor either of his girls recognized the boy. When police arrived, they were eventually able to find the boy, who they identified as Daniel LaPlante, in a crawl space closet area. In the space, they found food wrappers, bottles, blankets, and lights, and were able to determine that LaPlante had been living there for quite some time. They also found peepholes throughout the home. LaPlante was charged with armed burglary, malicious harm to a residence, I think is what they said, breaking and entering, kidnapping, and threatening harm with a deadly weapon. Police believed that LaPlante likely got Tina's phone number from previously burglarizing the home. And after LaPlante was put behind bars, the family moved to New Hampshire for a fresh start. I don't think...
New Hampshire is.
Yeah. I don't think that one is very much true.
Okay.
I think it was dramatized quite a bit. So, moving on to our final story. This one I think is probably the most likely to be true, as it comes directly from Tina and Karen, as well as 3 officers who worked on the case. So, the last story in, again, that was like the first show I watched about this, and they were interviewing, I think they interviewed 1 officer, and they interviewed a reporter from the area. And everything else I feel like was dramatized. But this story is from Tina and Karen and 3 officers who worked on the case. So I think this is probably most accurate.
Okay.
At the time that Tina and Karen's mother passed away, Tina was 14 years old and Karen was 8 years old.
Traveling.
Yeah. Karen was 8.
Okay.
So they're like, Karen's helping her do a seance. She's 8. I have to sneeze. Okay. Their mother's death was obviously hard on them, but one beacon of hope was that Tina's best friend, 15-year-old Kathy, was going to be moving in with them. Kathy's parents had moved to Tennessee, and when she and Tina proposed that she move in with the Bowens, Frank Bowen agreed, thinking it would help Tina through the grieving process. Frank Bowen was the manager of a hotel restaurant and was often gone late at night. So,
Clever. Got a lot of
couple
jobs.
things.
Just kidding.
Right. Not a bus driver.
Uh-huh.
And there's a third girl living in their house now.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Tina and Kathy loved this. They were able to stay up late, talk on the phone, eat ice cream for dinner, play loud music, and torment Karen any chance they could get.
They said, if you heard that we were sad that our dad was working all the time, wrong.
You heard. At one point, the laundry machines at the Bowen home had broken, so the girls went down to the local laundromat to get some chores done. Tina was blaring music and dancing in front of the store window, where she knew some boys were watching from outside. And eventually the boys came inside and asked Tina for her phone number, so she gave it to them. She could not iterate and reiterate enough how boy crazy she was throughout this whole thing. Later on, she did get a call, but not from one of the boys. Another boy, Danny LaPlante, had gotten Tina's number from the guys at the laundromat, and they struck up a little flirtation talking on the phone. Tina said they talked on the phone for months, and she was really into him, but when the two finally met up at an 8th grade event, she thought Danny was ugly.
It's that stupid ADHD. Poor guy.
She said, she said, I must have been shallow because we were talking on the phone all the time and I really liked him and then I met him and I thought he was ugly. And so she completely forgot about him after that. Throughout this time, Frank was still out of the home often, and Tina and Kathy were still enjoying the adult-free life. They're vibing. So they decided one night to conduct a seance. Shortly after it began, an electrical panel cover flew off of the wall, and the two girls were too scared to continue. They were like, never mind. Despite them giving up on the paranormal activity, this night was the beginning of a frightening set of events. On another evening, during a thunderstorm, lightning struck near the home and lit up the dining room through the window. Tina heard both Kathy and Karen scream, and when she got to them, they both said they thought they had seen their mother standing in the room with them. On another night, Kathy and Tina were up talking to boys on the phone until around 2 a.m. when they heard what sounded like rocks hitting the window.
Romantic.
Yeah. Tina called the police.
Oh, not romantic. She said
She's
boy
like,
crazy, but not stupid.
Yeah. Be so serious. She called the police, but when they arrived, they were more concerned with the fact that 3 girls under the age of 16 were home alone. Later, when Tina
said, now your dad's in trouble.
Yeah. Later, when Tina spoke to her dad about the incident, he told her that she shouldn't have called the police because they are not supposed to be home alone in the first place. He said, "Great, now you're getting me in trouble." After that, Tina slept with the door barricaded and with a knife under her pillow. She said the girls moved through the house in tandem, with Kathy in the front, Karen in the middle, and Tina walking backwards on the end so they could keep watch from all directions.
Smart girls.
I know. But also how very there are no adults here.
Yeah.
One night as Tina was getting ready to go roller skating, a rock hit her bathroom window and cracked it. This time, her father was home to see that it had really happened, and Tina tried to call Kathy. I'm not sure where Kathy was, but she was like, Kathy was supposed to come home and babysit Karen so that Tina could go. Or no, their dad was going to drop them all off at the skating rink, and they were supposed to babysit Karen there. So she tried to call Kathy, and she realized that the phone lines had been cut and burned. Frank was able to call someone at some point to come fix the phones.
How did he do that?
He was able to find someone to come fix the phones.
Okay.
And after they were repaired,
he walked outside and he said,
"Hello." After they were repaired, it seemed like the issues stopped for the most part, the hauntings.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Then, in December, Karen got sick. Not like very sick. That sounds really dramatic. But like she had like a cold with the flu.
Yeah.
With their dad working constantly, Tina and Kathy would take turns staying home with Karen from school to take care of her. So one day when Tina was there watching her, she heard the radio turn on in the kitchen, and then she could hear the cabinets fly open and slam closed. So she went downstairs to check it out and maybe call her dad, but he told her that they would need to talk when he got home because he was busy with the lunch rush, because he's the manager of a hotel restaurant and not a bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
So she knew, sorry, I skipped a part. So she had to kind of drop it at that point. And once she was down there, it stopped. But then Karen came downstairs for lunch. The family had recently done a grocery run, so Karen was like, I know exactly what I want because I remember what we bought. I want cupcakes. I want orange juice. But she couldn't find them anywhere.
Oh.
She was like, where? She was like, I was so mad. Tina also knew that the cupcakes and orange juice should have been there, but they weren't. And so, not wanting to scare Karen, she told her that Kathy had taken them to school. So she found something else for Karen to eat and went to get ready for work at the Thoroughbred farm. While getting ready, Karen called out that she had found the cupcakes. And they had been partially eaten, and the uneaten cupcakes and wrappers were in the laundry room down in the cellar. At that point, Tina took Karen over to the neighbor's house and went to work. She said that the neighbors were already supposed to be babysitting Karen that night when she went to work, so I think she just kind of took her over there a little bit earlier. It's like, I'm going away. When the family returned home that evening, every light, radio, and TV in the house were on. Volume was turned all the way up. The radios and TVs were all set to the same station, and one of their toilets had been used.
Not flushed, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Or else
Tina honestly was just kind of thankful that her dad was finally there to see it for himself. But she
freaking told your ass.
Yeah, but at first he still wasn't really taking it seriously. Then he went into one of the bedrooms and he called the girls in there, and Tina said she saw her dad standing face to face with a teenage boy in an oversized fur coat with his hair spiked up, his face covered in war paint, and he was holding a hatchet. Frank told the girls that it was okay. He said, it's just a homeless person. He's probably looking for food. Let's walk this way. And Frank took the girls into a different bedroom and locked the door behind them. Once they were in there, Tina tried to call the police, but the phones and lights had been shut off. She claimed that this was when she really started to panic, and she was just saying over and over again, Dad, no light, no phone. Dad, no light, no phone. Just over and over again. Finally, she snapped out of it, and decided to jump out of the window.
Oh.
Second-story window.
Oh.
She heard Kathy yell for her to run, and she sprinted to a neighbor's house to tell them what had happened. The neighbors called the police, and soon the state police showed up and began searching through the house and the woods for the intruder.
I'd still like to believe it was ketchup and mayonnaise and not real war paint.
I mean, probably because he's living in
having to be
someone else's
resourceful.
house. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Where else?
And he's
Did
homeless.
he bring the war paint with him?
Mm-hmm.
Police were not able to find anyone, but they did find the hatchet right outside the front door. Karen said she remembered a tall police officer telling her to come out of the window, but she was crying too hard to really follow directions, so her dad had to throw her out of the window and into the arms of the police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Tina recalled how their dad got down on his knees and apologized for not believing her before. Believing
Walk him like a dog, sis. Walk him like a dog.
I know that's right. Believing that the intruder had fled into the woods, police had the family stay in a hotel. 2 days later, Frank called police and asked if they could escort him through the home to get some things. And when they arrived, they could see someone waving from the second-story window of the home. Making their way inside, police found a family photo stuck to the wall with a knife that had been written on with marker and read, "I'm back, come find me." As they continued through the home, they found a second photo stabbed through with a knife, this time reading, "I'm going to kill all of you." After seeing someone in the window, police couldn't understand why they weren't finding anyone inside the house. When they looked in the cellar again, they realized that one of the walls that had been built down there was only used to hide the plumbing pipes. So because of this, it left about an 8.5 to 9-inch hollow space that someone could, hypothetically fit through. Once they were able to get through that space, they found a small hiding space behind it. And in that was a 4-foot-tall pile of dirty laundry.
Oh.
Investigators
outfit changes?
No, it's their laundry.
Oh.
Because this is in the laundry room.
Okay.
Investigators pulled clothes out of the pile and found Daniel LaPlante hiding underneath.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he put his hands up and left with the police. When they brought him out of the house, Tina said she immediately recognized his eyes, but couldn't remember where she knew him from. And then it finally hit her that this was the ugly guy she had gone on a date with and then completely forgotten about. But he never forgot about her. Police were later able to determine that he had been watching the family through electrical outlets and air conditioning vents. He would from behind the wall, pull the actual electrical outlet out and just watch through the frame. He was taken into custody. I know. He was taken into custody where he had 6 mugshots taken, and police requested a mental evaluation.
So ugly they couldn't even get a good picture.
The guy was he was I completely rejected the normal 2 photos. We did 6 because I knew we would need them for something. I was like, what does that mean? What did you need them for?
Yeah.
Okay. He was sent to Bridgewater Hospital where he was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. He was then charged with breaking and entering, kidnapping, and threatening harm with a deadly weapon. I think, kind of crazy that, I'm sure that that's probably really what happened, because that's what the girls are saying happened, and the police officers are saying it happened, and so then I'm like, how did it get, so, far gone as the story we started with? Because this is crazy.
Yeah.
We don't need to add all those extra details.
Yeah.
to make it crazy. It's already there.
Yeah. Nuts.
After spending a very short amount of time in a juvenile center, it was like a month, I think, it was decided that LaPlante would be tried as an adult. With this came the chance to post bail. Despite police guidance, the judge in the case allowed LaPlante's mother to pay $10,000 and take him out on bail. Even before stalking Tina Bowen, LaPlante had long been breaking into homes in the paper mill town of Pepperell, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. His MO was that he would not only steal things from these homes, but he would also leave things behind and leave the house in disarray so that victims would know someone had been there. Now that he was free, out on bail, he was back to his old tricks, which is why when police looked into the details of the Gustafson murders, LaPlante was the first person who came to mind.
And I was waiting for you to tell me how they just were like, ding, we know who it is.
Yeah. The lieutenant, he said, as soon as I saw that beer bottle, I said, I wonder what Daniel LaPlante's up to these days.
These days? I mean, how long could it have been?
It's been a fucking month.
Like,
no, not even.
It's been 20 years since I've heard from that guy.
I know, it's been like less than a year. Once the manhunt was underway, police called Frank Bowen to let him know that LaPlante was on the run. Frank chose not to tell his daughters until LaPlante had been captured.
But they are the only ones paying attention to what's going on in your house, Frank.
He's like, sure he did.
I don't believe anyone.
At trial, Daniel LaPlante was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life without parole. He showed no remorse at his trial and apparently still hasn't to this day. The judge told him at sentencing that if Massachusetts had the death penalty, he would have pulled the switch himself.
Ah, nice.
In 2018, life sentences for juvenile offenders were outlawed. Because of this, LaPlante's sentence was reduced to 45 years, and he will be eligible for release in 2033 when he is in his early 60s. Great.
Wow.
Because he seems like just the right person to release.
Uh-huh.
Because it worked so well the first time.
Hopefully a little harder to navigate tunnels and crawl spaces when you're 60.
Crazy. And everybody got caller ID now.
Yeah,
Try to call someone at random and it's going to say scam likely.
Uh-huh. Exactly right. No one answers the phone anymore.
That's it.
Wow.
Crazy. Like, that's crazy. Why did y'all have to make it crazier by dressing him up as a woman?
Yeah, they were like, wait a second, we actually have to psycho this guy.
Yeah.
Although I do love the addition of the ketchup and mayonnaise, I must say.
Yeah. And maybe that is what it was. You never know.
But you said that in the third story, the signs were written in marker, not in ketchup/blood. Okay.
Right. Correct. And they were like on the pictures.
Oh, sure.
Not all across the wall.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Hey, thanks.
All right. Bye.